So, time for the next talk. I know she's quite nervous, but I know so that she's gonna do really, really great. And I'm really glad to welcome Janine and talking to us about the Oculus Rift. Janine, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, like you said, I'm really nervous. I have never done a conference talk before, so it's my first time. Please don't be mean. I'm going to talk about user experience and interface design for virtual reality games, mainly with the Oculus Rift, where there's this thing. Yeah, I'm going to give you some ideas and guidelines. It's not a very technical, but people are still figuring this out. The headset has only been out for a few months, and people are trying different cool things. And I'm just giving you a little overview of what I think, how you could do it. So, something about me. My name is Janina Woods. My own company called Atio. Please don't. Not yet up. There's just a WordPress template. Now, this is my Twitter handle. You might not want to follow me because I tweet a lot and it's not really related to what I talk about. But if you want to go ahead, I don't force you to anything. To set the mood for the talk, now is your chance to escape. I like ponies. I love ponies. I love Star Trek. Woohoo! I love this. I want to make a holodeck out of this. And I love anime. And this is why I'm going to explain my concept of interface design for this thing with an anime as example later. So if you want to leave now, if you're not comfortable with this, I will only silently judge you. Well, that's clear. Let's move on. Like I said, I work for a company called Atio. This doesn't mean anything, it's just a made-up word. We just wanted to do something to start with A, so we're at the top place of our lists. We do mainly augmented reality stuff. So this is the example what happens when you look at the backside of our business card. So I have these little things running around. And when you press feed, there's a cow coming up from the ground, and they all grab onto it and they eat it. So this is for people to keep our business card and download our app, just tricking them into it. And right now, we are just working on an augmented reality app for the Dunant Museum in Heiden-Appenzell. They're doing an augmented reality exhibition in October. And if you want to, you can come. It'll be great. But why I'm here? I'm working on a horror game for this thing right now. We've been working on this the whole year, and it's really cool because it's all closed and you can't look away from the monitor, and horror is really cool when you can't look away. This screenshot isn't very horror-y, but I figured it's the only thing you could see anything on because the whole game is very dark and you wouldn't be able to see anything on the other screenshots. Now I'm doing a little shameless advertising because we're on Indiegogo right now and we have very little money. Just putting that out there. So this is how it looks when I wear it, the Oculus Rift. I'm giving you some specs. So there is a 7-inch screen in there. There's a very low resolution right now, but the consumer version will have a HD screen, which is also split. You have a degree of vision, which is about this and this, so you can't really see the edge of the screen. It just gets blurred by these lenses that are in there. They give you this kind of fisheye effect, so you have this really illusion of being in another reality. And this is the most important part about the interface design you need to do. So there's all kinds of sensors in there. Most are not activated right now, so like the accelerometer, but I hope they will be soon. So, virtual reality. This is the first anime screenshot. So this is from the anime I'm going to talk about. Virtual reality, why would you go in a virtual reality? So you can have this feeling of immersion, of being in another world you could never visit, or you can do things you could never do, like jumping from a wingsuit with a wingsuit from space, or diving in the deepest of the ocean, or just visit a fantasy place like this and fly around it, and all the stuff you could never do. And you have this 360-degree field of view, which is very low res right now, but I believe these are the first ones they're doing it. There will be much higher resolution later. So, and if you want to you feel like it's real, you want to feel like it's real, you have this disconnect of your body when you feel like it's not real, and this very queasy feeling in your stomach, and you get sick very easily if your head doesn't make the connection of this is real what I see and my body is also in it. And it's you can only really feel it when you wear this thing. You can't really explain it. It's kind of like getting motion sick in a car when you look at the book and everything's moving and you feel like it's moving but you don't see it. It's the other way around. You see it's moving but you don't move in space. And these are just two of the books I read. It's not a recommendation. You don't have to read this. If you're making virtual reality, which is two books I really like. This is the Otherland series, which is a very old one about virtual reality, and this is the Ready Player One, is really new. And they give a lot of cool ideas what you could do with virtual reality. And I believe the Ready Player One is mandatory if you work at Oculus Rift. Right, so the interface in VR is very easy to make if you get how to do it and if you get the initial idea, but screwing up the interface is not good. It makes you sick, it makes you physically sick. So you want to rip off the headset and just throw it away and go outside, get some fresh air. And not that some other UI hasn't made me physically sick, but here it's really happening to everyone. So this is the anime I'm going to talk about. It's called Sword Art Online. It's a very recent one. It's about a group of people getting stuck in a virtual reality VR MMORPG, which is a virtual reality massive multiplayer online role-playing game. And they need to kill the final boss and clear all the level to be able to get out of there. And if they die in the game, they die in real life. And it's a very cool story, and it's also very romantic, so I can all recommend you to watch it. The way they do it is they have this Nerve Gear headset which directly puts your brain input signals into the game and otherwise, so you can't do it with this one. But if you think of the controller as an extension of your body, it's kind of like that. So this screenshot gives a little bit of a representation of what it's like to wear this headset. So the middle is all focused, and the edges get blurry. And of course, you wouldn't see the edge of the screen when you wear the headset. So you have this kind of fisheye effect, and you only really see in focus what's in the middle of the screen. So you really have to concentrate on what you want to read or what you want to see. And yeah, they put a lot of work actually into designing the interface for the anime. Even though it's just an anime, you can't really play it, but it really, really makes sense. So they go the approach of an extended augmented reality for virtual reality. So they treat virtual reality like normal reality with no screen. So you design a UI on a screen for not a screen. It's difficult to get your head around that. So what they do is they place like these augmented text, which you normally would have on your phone or on your tablet when you watch it with augmented reality, in the world. So they put all this information that you would normally have on your screen, like in all those online games, your screen is just full with all those UI stuff. They put it into the world so the player can enjoy being there and watch in every direction and only get the information from the world when they need it, when they really look at the stuff, so it doesn't cloud their vision. It's a little bit like, imagine someone would have this thing and stick it in front of your head, and it would just stay there when you move. This is what normal UI looks like. So you can't really see anything, it never disappears, it really annoys you, but if it just would stay here, and I could wherever, and I look down, I see it, and I can look wherever, this is really, really the way to go. And what they do is they place this kind of augmented reality text all in the world, like this congratulations message when they defeat the boss, or this congratulations message when you level up. So it just remains there. It's really a physical object, even though it's an interface. And they really reduce their interface to only showing the necessary stuff at the time. And you can interact with it. Okay, they press the finger, but you can easily manipulate something with a controller. and you can look away from it, so it remains in place. And yeah, it's difficult to explain. I'll show you a demo later. So what they do, they annotate the things in virtual reality. They don't put the thing in your vision, but with the objects you want to see. You can imagine standing in like this fantasy shop, and you see all the swords and all the potions, and when you get closer and look at the stuff, you see this label, but then you go away, you don't need to see it anymore. Like this, the description stays relative in place to the object. And also stuff like this, like information about the player health and the other players that play with you. It's not on screen, but in the world. Yeah, like with this boss. So, why does this work in VR and not with the classic games we have right now? The gameplay and content is basically the same. So there are games that are doing it right now. Love stuff like Mirror's Edge, where they place the information the player needs into the world. They go with a very reduced color scheme, and all those red objects are objects you can interact with. You can jump over, you can slide along these rails, and so you don't need an interface. You know what to do. The gameplay is very simple. And stuff like Dead Space. It's a horror game, yeah. Okay, you don't see it very well. So the health of the player is the bar on his spine, and the ammunition is displayed right at the gun, so I don't need any interface as well. And games like Metro, who display the ammunition right at the gun while you shoot it, so you always have this overview of what's currently happening without having to look at numbers somewhere. Of course, current multiplayer games rely heavily on quick interaction and having a good overview of the whole thing. And they need to focus, they need to see where they're going, they need to see what they do, and they can't really look away from that because you only have two controls, really. You can walk with the keys, you can turn your head with the mouse, and you don't have this third axis of, I can walk this way, I can look this way and shoot this way. It's not possible. But what they do is they tie your vision to the motion action, to the action direction. So I point and shoot. And this works really well for this kind of games because you need to react very quickly, but I don't think these games will be great to play on the Oculus. Except when you take this axis away, so I can run, I can look who's behind me, and then I can shoot at him while still running in this direction. So this is stuff that's possible with the Oculus that wasn't possible before. But if you tie the direction of action to your vision, you kind of feel like Superman, shooting lasers out of your eyes everywhere you go, because you just point and shoot with your eyes. It feels really strange if the game is not designed that way. But with this you get more freedom. And this is especially cool for horror games, because right now you just need to run, and you need the audio feedback to know if it's still behind you. But now you can run and look behind you and continue running. So you can have stuff coming from all directions, and you need to really look. And it gives you this kind of dreading feeling, so that stuff is coming from every direction. So there are some Oculus games that have very cool interface ideas right now. It's like this game, it's called Routine. They have the very clever workaround. They have this, this mobile phone thingy in their weapon. And the player can bring up the menu screen by hacking screens in the world. You bring up the menu screen on that, and then the center of your vision acts like a mouse cursor to choose stuff from the menu. So this screen is not in your vision, but it's a fixed point in the world. You can look at it from any angles. And this is stuff that works. It's a very sneaky workaround. Oh, that's very dark. Okay, what you can't see is a table, and on the table there's a bottle, and on the bottom there's a map. Okay, so this game has a very clever interface where you just hold down a mouse button and then the objects in your inventory appear as 3D objects around you in your vision, and you look at what you want to select, you let go of your mouse button and you select it. And that's a very clever workaround of avoiding those lists. What we do in our game, it's also very dark, is we just display quest text and everything you would need, sorry, everything you would need as texts, as 3D texts in the world. So if you're on this quest and this is your starting point, this text will appear in the world, it will stay there until you move through it, and by that accepting the quest. And we give you these little hints in the world that only appear when you're close to the object and disappear when you actually done what you did. So I rambled a lot, so there's a summary. Playing with the Oculus is an experience of reality you have to support and not distract from by placing these billboards in the player's vision. You need to treat it like the real world, so you can't make interface for a screen, but you need to make interface for the real world. And you have to make the UI physical, because everything that distracts from being in the world gives you just this huge headache. So, and you're probably looking forward to demo time. So. Let's see. So this is a game called Shiny, and we made this for the Oculus VR Jam in about 5-6 days, just to show off the interface options you have. So this is the main menu. I can freely look around. This is a 3D text in the world. I don't see any of you. I don't know where you are. If you see down there, if you want a tutorial, so this is all the menu screens we have, you look to the right and you see what to do. And if you want to know who made this game, you look to the left. And what's not in it yet, we want to have a quit button that's right above you, but it's not really there, so I'm just pointing there. So we have 2 modes. I'm going to try time mode and hope I won't die while explaining it to you. Oh, I should have turned on music. I don't really see anything. So you see this tunnel, and there's the time remaining at the bottom, and my current score there, and I look at those cubes to tag them and get more time. And I don't really see we'll probably die now. And this is kind of I don't know if any of you played Res or AudioSurf. This is kind of a combination of those two, just with VR. And so I don't need anything to play this, only my head. And I always lose because I start headbanging and I really need to get those things, and I can't. But you can really... 6 seconds remaining. Okay, I'm just gonna die now. Woohoo! I played better before. So this is my current high score, which is also here in the game. I can go into endless mode now to show you the level better. So you have this tunnel. And at first we only had moving colors and people would get very sick. Sorry, hi. Would get very sick, but then we added this grid, and you have something to log onto while it's moving, and you don't feel very sick. And if I look back, there's nothing. So there's just the cubes coming out of nowhere. and they pulsate in the rhythm, so it's kind of like a rhythm flow game. Yeah. And what you can't see there is that it's 3D. Well, you can't see it because you see two pictures. And if those cubes float by your face, you really want to go like, because they're very big. Well. I love this game. There's another one I can show you, another demo, which is the one you couldn't see before in the screenshot with the nice UI. I don't know if it'll work out. And I don't really want to play it because it's very scary, but I'll do it anyway. Ooh, dread halls. So this is the interface, like in our game. You can look in any direction. It doesn't really stay fixed. There's nothing behind me yet. And I can click to continue. And so you're in this randomly generated dungeon, and I don't really want to play it. And the interface is very cleverly made because you have this map that maps your progress, but the only thing you need to do to activate is look down, and then the map appears, stays here, and then it goes away. So you can really easily avoid any menu options like that. And yeah, there's this box I can open by, there's nothing in it. Okay. How the interface works is I press down the mouse button and these things appear. And I can look at them and they automatically get tagged. Do you see anything? Is it too dark? Too dark, huh? God damn it. Can we make this darker for a second? Problem with developing horror games, I can never show them to anyone because no one sees anything. And the problem is with the Oculus, it's very dark inside, so you can have very little light in the game level and still see a lot, but if you put it on something that hasn't very good black levels, it just doesn't display anything. Ugh. Looking at the desktop is not a good idea, because you have this stereoscopic vision anyway, and it tries to just overlay the two parts of the desktop in your eyes, and no. Let's try this again. Ooh. Oh, damn it, now this is forward, so I won't go and play this. It takes your position when you start the game as forward. I looked in this direction, I have to play like this. It's okay. So now do you see something? Okay. Okay, that's much better. So, let's go through this again. I can look in any direction. I walk forward like this. So whenever I look down, I see this, this map coming up and going away. And this automatically tracks my progress. And there's this very cool inventory which I can show you now. If I hold down where's the mouse button? There's the mouse button. So I hold down this mouse button and these things appear. I can look at them to select them. And if I just let go, it's activated and I have my lantern filled. I can go explore. So the Oculus is very, maybe you don't really see it on screen, but it gives you this feeling of really being in there. So you have this, automatically this feeling of, if you put a roof very low, you feel constrained. You don't really feel like this in normal games because your movement direction is this way and you really only look horizontally and not vertically. Uh-oh. I'm not sure I want to do this. Okay, I'm not going to do this. Okay, let's just stop this here. There we go. Yeah, okay. It's randomly generated. Sometimes I play for 10 minutes and I don't run into anything, and sometimes. So this is, you get, maybe some of you want to try this to get the feeling of anyone? Do I have time? I do have time. You can all try it. Yeah, just, you want to play this one or the music game? The other one maybe, yeah, okay. So just, don't look at the desktop.
Okay.
Don't look at the desktop. Or you can if you want. But... Okay, there you go. And you can tell me how it feels.
Feels good.
And you can tell me if you get sick, you would be the first.
Yeah, that was my first question. Yeah, the feeling of space is quite strong.
It looks quite funny when someone plays it and they don't see themselves.
Okay. I'm gonna end on YouTube.
Hey, pretty good. Do all kinds of stuff with people. There's this roller coaster demo, and a friend of mine tried it, and there's this feeling of vertigo when you go down the roller coaster and then in this big curves, and she nearly fell off the chair when it went down, but then because your brain wants to, and your sense of balance, is that the word? Sense of balance want to write what you do. And if you see you're going in this curve and your sense of balance says, oh shit, and goes like this, but nothing's happening, and she fell right off the chair. Yeah, really good. No, my high score. It's okay, it's the easy version of the game. I just brought you the easy version, the harder version. Well, he can play on and on. Who else wants to try it?
It's cool.
Sure. Maybe. Let me check.
You have something to clean up the puking?
Let me just quickly check. My screen resolution back to private, so you don't see the folders I'm clicking through. You don't want to see that. So let's see. Rift coaster. Hope it works. There you go.
Okay. Whoa. Whoa. It's weird because you're not physically there, but you can feel like everything around you is pretty real. It feels pretty real. Holy shit. Holy shit. Watching down is the hardest because you can't see your legs.
The problem is with having a body in the game. If the body is not in the exact same state in the game, you feel a very much bigger sense of disconnect than when there's no body. Because if your body in the game does this and you're not doing this, you think, whoa.
This is really, really, really weird.
Okay, look forward. You're going down very soon.
Well, I feel kind of nauseous right now.
Yeah, this demo is one of the first that came out, so it's not really optimized.
Let's go.
Let's
roller
go.
coasters. Whoa. This is good. Holy shit. Wow. Wow, sometimes I really have to close my eyes. Wow, it really makes you kind of lose equilibrium. Holy shit. Unfortunately,
comes the best part.
No.
Okay, and you're one way around.
Okay. Well, you have to experience it for yourself. Yeah, thanks.
Anyone want to go the next ride? Oh, it's about to start. Run. Quickly. It's very pixelated. It's a very low resolution.
It's really an incredible feeling. You think your body should actually feel something, but it kind of doesn't.
And the funny thing is, your sense of balance tries to, I mean, if you go like this and your sense of balance tries to correct it in a different direction, so the right curve sometimes really feels like the left curve.
That's true.
Let's do an experiment.
It's good that it's going up now, so it's not that hard. But yeah, it really makes you want to somehow balance it out and like turn left or right, and then your body does something wrong. Yeah, looking down is cool.
And you really need to focus on everything in the world, so you get this feeling of, your body gives you the feeling of being there, and the world needs to keep up with that. and then if the interface is just static and it just blocks everything. So no interface is best, but if you have to do it, just make it somehow physical or augmented reality.
But I think you can get used to it somehow.
Well, most people feel very, very sick on the first day.
Yeah.
But after 1 or 2 days, you don't almost feel nothing.
I have actually a question. Has there been some works done with combining this with like moving motors, moving things, so that you also feel like the body?
Well, there are some experiments with people trying this with Kinect. So you have this full body tracking with Oculus, so you see your real body in the game, and this works really well, except when it starts lagging and you feel like your arm is lagging, and it's really strange. But there are people who try this, but then you have the constraints of the Kinect, because you're just standing in place and you can't really walk somewhere. You would need to combine it with some kind of walk pad and Kinect and Oculus, and then something that tracks your finger movement, and you could do all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah. So, questions?
All right, so you said that if people